for Niko Knows Best, everyone's favorite show in the world. But it's a very special show today, very, very special, because we have a international superstar with us today. Simon Sez. Simon, thank you for joining us, my friend. How are you
Brother,
doing?
this isn't like a chore or anything. This is hanging out with my boys, dude. Long Island Mike C, what's up, brother?
Cool,
So
Mike.
good to see you, Simon, as always. We were just talking about Mania coming up this week and, the enjoyable and some not so enjoyable, but mostly enjoyable we focus on times we had last year in Dallas. And just missing out on it a little bit in the whole Hollywood this year. But I think with The Rock not showing up, it just kind of dropped off and nobody from the crew is really going this year. Are a lot of your friends going that you know or not, Simon?
Yeah, I actually had a ticket and a place to stay, and then I got asked to wrestle at MegaCon, which is something I've always wanted. It was on my bucket list. So I'm wrestling Saturday and Sunday at MegaCon.
Nice.
And my big regret, though, you guys knowing me, it's no secret. I'm not as nice as people think I am, and I'm even worse than some people assume that I am. And you guys are on a very short list of people that I actually like. So you know the real Simon Sez. Bro, the fact that Andy Kaufman's going into the Hall of Fame and I'm not going to be there is tearing at my soul.
Yes. You represented Andy so well with Lawler last year. We loved it. We had a great time. I got so many good pictures. It was just such a great experience and a great finish. And
that was bucket list, baby. Like,
oh yeah,
Andy Kaufman was my hero.
Let's get into that moment for a second because
it was very memorable.
It was very special for you, obviously, and for those of you listening right now. Simon Sez, our friend John, for those that don't know that, he had the opportunity to fight a true legend. I mean, there's no question about it. It's Jerry the King Lawler.
The King.
I mean, the fact that Simon Sez and
yes.
Jerry the King Lawler went 1-on-1 was absolutely amazing. And yes, he did get the better of you that day.
He had to use
fire. But at the end of the day, I mean, it's just such an honor to be in the ring with Jerry the King. I mean, as a young man growing up and aspiring to become a professional wrestler, you'd probably never imagine you'd be in the ring with that caliber of a wrestler.
Especially me, I don't. A lot of people, a lot of the negativity that I get and have gotten, this past February was my 17th year in wrestling. And after I was trained, it's actually 19 years because I started out working at TNA as ring crew and security. I mean, that's where we met, Niko. You know me from there. God, we've known each other 19 years, dude.
It's like the smallest world in the world because our paths have crossed again in this time. And we were both like, yeah, I worked at TNA. And then I was like, oh my God, I know, like the light bulb went off and I was like, oh my God, dude, you, me, and Stifler were like the three bums running around the back doing all the clown work for years. And the fact that you became a wrestler and I became a social media influencer in wrestling, it's just crazy how we've turned in that bum moment. But it was such a great experience. If you could just take a second to talk about TNA wrestling, how you became an employee there and how you worked your way up. Talk about that for a little bit.
So real quick, what I was saying is, people say Simon doesn't look like a wrestler. Simon's just a manager. So I never thought I'd get a chance to do anything like what you said about working with the King. But I did find I have a notebook that I've had since my first week of training, and on it, it's so corny, but I have top 7 things I want to do in wrestling before I retire. And number one on the list was wrestle Jerry Lawler. So that was like my number one goal. And I always tell people I broke into wrestling. It's like a movie. I was a scare actor for Halloween Horror Nights. So with your Universal ID, you get to hang around backstage and no one asks questions as long as you stay out of people's ways. A buddy of mine was actually training to wrestle, and he was a security guy at TNA Universal. At TNA Genesis in 2005, he got into a big shouting match with Terry Taylor. And they kicked him out. They said, you got to go. So as he was walking by the Universal employee catering, he threw his security shirt down and says, hey, man, I'm out of here. And he took off. And a few minutes later, Pat Kenny, Simon Diamond walked by calling for all security guys. Like, hey, we need everybody to put their security shirts on. We have a pre-tape by the ring. And I just sat there like a lump. Like, I'm not a security guy. until he came back around and snapped his fingers at me and said, "Hey, get your shit on, let's go." So I threw the shirt on and stood my fat ass ringside, and next thing you know, my phone's blowing up. Is that you on TNA Genesis? Blah blah blah. And I kept showing up, man. I kept showing up every taping with that security shirt. Nobody ever asked questions. I was an employee at Universal, so I got in and out. And one of the guys was in the ring. Kurt Angle was in the ring and was asking the security guys, "Hey, does anybody here know how to take a bump?" And nobody raised their hand. So me, being the mook that I am, I was like, yeah. I know. I've been trained. I know how to bump. So he's like, "Can I try a couple things on you?" And I said, yeah.
Kurt Angle?
So in the ring, and he proceeded to throw me around like a beach ball, dude. I landed on my
Like
head,
belly
on
to
my
bellies and everything.
overhead, belly to belly, like bouncing off the turnbuckle. So I didn't even know how to take a turnbuckle properly. And it's overhead, belly to belly, landing on my ankles, landing on my face. After like 4 or 5 of them, he's like, "All right, thank you guys. You guys can go." And as I'm getting ready to roll out, he goes, "Not you." And he goes, "Come back in." And I was like, "Uh-oh." He goes, "How long have you been training?" And of course, I proceed to stutter and he's like, "You're not trained, are you?" And I said, "No, sir, I'm not." He's like, "That's dumb." He's like, "That you don't got a lot of brains, but you got some balls." And he ended up sending me to the FXC Pro Wrestling Academy, which turned into the Team 3D Academy. So I was part of the inaugural class for Bubba and Demon, and that's how it started, man.
This is crazy. And it's my story is similar to that because I was going to UCF. I was a senior. TNA came. They were coming from Nashville to Orlando, and I was like, I'm gonna do my senior internship there. And I went there, and they had no work for me. I was there 3 months. Walt Wilson was the director of marketing. He got fired, so I was working for like Don Harris as a senior at UCF.
Yeah, Donnie.
And Dirty Dutch, you know what I mean? They're having me doing, and they gave me the security shirt. I'm out there who I don't want to be a wrestler. I'm not like you. You know what I mean? Like I don't take bumps. They got me out there with security. Lucky I didn't have to take a bump. But the funniest story ever, we were there for maybe like a month, and my best friend Rob was with me, and like we were putting up the Ultimate X. They were putting it up, and they were struggling to do it. And they were like, "Hey, anyone here know?" And my boy worked on elevators, and they had him come, and he was actually like putting the Ultimate X up for them. He didn't even work for TNA. It's hilarious that they do that kind of stuff over and over again. I love it though. TNA was probably the best time of my life. I definitely wasted my time there. I didn't take advantage of it. I'm not who I am now. I wasn't, buttering up to Dixie and like kissing Jeff Jarrett's ass and trying to mingle, sitting next to AJ Styles at lunch. I wasn't a fanboy. I was just kind of in my own world, which sucks, but it is what it is, and the experiences are unforgettable, no doubt about it.
Yeah, actually, just this past weekend on Sunday at the Pro Wrestling Action Show, David Young was there. And I haven't seen Dave in years, but Dave was one of the few guys that never shit on us security guys, especially me. Like, he would sit with me at the ale house. I would hang out with him during the tapings. And Dave was like, like I said, I haven't seen Dave in ages. And Dave pulled me aside afterward, and I was like, "Man, bro, you are a completely different guy." Like, talk about not being the same person. He was like, "I remember you being too shy to talk to people. You just kept to yourself. Now here you are, like, you're one of the top guys on this show, like getting the loudest reactions. I was directing and producing people's promos backstage and like agenting some of the spots that were going on on the show." And Dave was like blown away. He's like, if you had a gun to my head back in 2005 and asked me, "Is this kid gonna go on to do that stuff?" would have never believed it.
So I know you saw the wheel pop up there. For those of you that don't know what the hell that is, it's Spin the Wheel, Make a Deal, the Niko Extra Winners Club. I'm going to go ahead and spin the wheel real fast, and then I'm going to bring you back on. I have a bunch of questions to ask you. Mike has some questions as well, but there's a bunch of dorks on here that I love so much that are waiting to see this wheel spin. So let's go ahead and do that and see what the
Jamie Palmer hit the nail on the head, Niko. If Andy Kaufman shows up to pick up that award, my face will explode.
Where did he write that? Right there. Here we go. Here's Jamie Palmer. Jamie Palmer is awesome. One of my buddies that I talk to frequently. Love you, bro. There it is.
That would be no entertainment without Andy Kaufman.
So let's see what the prize of the night is going to be. Spinning the wheel, making deals. Let's see what we got. I'm supposed to play some music. Shit. Gotta play music. The prize this evening is gonna be. Oh. Samoa Joe autograph.
Wow.
Nice. Someone is Samoa autograph by the show.
Speaking
But
of
wait,
TNA,
right? We're doing 2 spins tonight, folks. We're getting crazy. 2 spins, 2 winners. Let's go one more time.
Fucking awesome.
Joe autograph for the first person. And the second person is going to get something cool, I'm sure. Don't forget the belt joins the wheel next week, folks. Big gold. Gonna be on there. Acclaimed t-shirt. Nice.
the Acclaimed have arrived.
It's the Acclaimed. Everybody knows their name. What do you, Simon? Sorry about that. What do you think about the Acclaimed?
Bro, they are.
Do you think
so
they're over? But do you think that the whole John Cena rap game before them you think it tarnishes them? Because I always hear them compared to him, and it's just because he did it first, I guess. But at the end of the day, they're completely different.
Yeah, but you can say that about almost anything. Like the fact that Drew McIntyre comes out in a kilt. Anybody can be an idiot and say, "Oh, Roddy Piper wore a kilt." You know what I mean?
Totally biting Roddy Piper. What a dickhead.
The big thing with me is
So,
this. So
Go ahead.
being that I spent so much of my formative time with Bubba Dudley, unfortunately, he ingrained a very antiquated mindset in my head. And I remember watching the pay-per-views at TNA at the Impact Zone with him and other people standing next to us while the X Division guys were opening the shows. You remember those crazy multi-man X Division matches that would blow the roof off this place?
Yeah.
Those were amazing.
Amazing. And all I would hear is Bubba and other people say they're killing the business. They it's ruining blah 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 blah. So I had that in my head for so long. These guys that just do spots and spots and spots. It's killing the business. It's killing the business. And just a few years ago, I'm embarrassed at how recently it was. People come out of their seats, and I realize it's not killing the business. It might be killing psychology, but if people are coming up out of their chairs and putting their hands in their pockets for something, doesn't matter what you compare them to, doesn't matter if it's something you don't like, that means it's over. And in its simplest form, wrestling was created to separate the marks from their money. I hate to say that, and a lot of people use that in a negative term, but it's true. And even if the Acclaim was coming out with a Thugonomics t-shirt and doing the word life, if the people were responding for them as loud as they are, does it matter?
Give the people what they want. Always.
Don't matter to me. It don't matter to me. I
E.G.
enjoy them. I
Barnum.
think they're
Man, just keep it going. Something new. Whatever sells.
I'm a huge Alex Shelley, William Regal, like catch wrestling, chain wrestling fan, and that's all I love to do. And if it was up to me, that's what I would do in the ring every single match. But it took me a hard lesson to realize people don't want to see Simon Sez do that. They want to hear me talk, and then they want to see me get my ass kicked. Give the people what they want.
Man, and pro wrestling action. You took one of the worst ass whippings I've seen in a minute, and I didn't even see the last show where I saw the video, but I wasn't there in person where you and Agony just kind of like threw the house down. I mean, those hardcore matches, I throw kudos to you because the last thing I want to do right now is get thrown on some thumbtacks or get hit over the head with a garbage can or what, you know what I mean? Like that takes some real balls, bro. Like you don't understand the kind. I mean, I'm pretty sure me and Cool Mike C are like 2 thumbs down.
Not happening.
It's not happening, dude.
Yeah.
And not even for a lot of money. Like Dan can't pay me $1,000 and I'm not doing it. You know what I mean? Like it's just you're a different kind of breed to be able to pull that kind of stuff off. And I almost feel like you do it for fun.
Yeah. A lot of people have, especially because I've done it twice now for Dan. And this last time there was 5,000 tacks in that bag.
Oh.
Yeah. I ended up getting a grade 3 concussion from the choke slam into the thumbtacks.
Jesus Christ.
This camera sucks, but when he hit me with it was a glass picture frame. It cut my ass up, dude. I bled for days, but the people liked it. They don't get to see that side of me very often. So yeah, I guess I'm masochistic and a sadist in a way because it's a little bit of a badge of honor. It's dumb, but
Two dudes with attitudes. You're amazing, bro. Thank you. All right, let's get back to the interview. We got sidetracked. I knew this was going to happen because we're all homies here. We're just going to talk the shit. Plus, it's WrestleMania weekend. But what are some of the biggest challenges you faced as a professional wrestler in your 18-year career?
It's that, because I started off as a manager, so I got a lot of like back and neck problems, and I should have never actually gotten in the ring as an active wrestler to begin with. That's how the Simon Sez thing came to be. During training, Bubba and Devon were like, hey, the whole Chris Benoit thing had just happened. And some of the other folks at the school were like, hey, if we let you keep training and you get hurt and people found out that we knew you had these pre-existing conditions, we could get in a lot of trouble. So maybe cool it with the wrestling and just be a manager. Plus you can talk. And so I was sitting around at Club Sez, which is what we call the house, Club Sez, trying to think of a gimmick for a manager, and the song Simon Sez by Drain SDH came on, which is my entrance music. And I said, oh, cool, there it is. A guy that, named Simon. The Simon Sez do this, Simon Sez do that. And yeah, so because I managed for so long, the biggest thing was getting away from, Sez is just a manager, when I transitioned to full-time in-ring stuff. And then the other one is, Sez has a great cardio, but he doesn't look like a wrestler. Those are even now, 18 years in and all the stuff that I've done, my first year when I stopped managing and transitioned to wrestling, I was PWI like 393 in my rookie year, and I was the highest guy in Florida that had never been on TV. Never in a million years expected to be in the top 500. And but still it's that. No, Sez doesn't look like a wrestler. Sez doesn't go to the gym. No, I do. I just don't lift. It's all cardio.
It's heart, bro. It's all heart. And I didn't know that. I didn't know you were in the top 500. That's amazing. Yeah. I mean, what was that moment like when you opened the page and you saw your name? Were you expecting to see it? Did you get a heads up, or were you just like, oh shit, that's me?
No, I remember because they released the names 100 at a time. And I remember when 4 to 500 came out, a bunch of my buddies were in it. So I was like, damn, dude, it would have been so awesome to have been included or just, anywhere on it. And then the following day, the other 300 came out and my phone was lighting up. Congratulations. And I remember when I saw the first couple of texts, I was mad. Like, why would you rib me like that? Like, that I'm butthurt that all these other guys I wrestle with are in, and I'm not. And then sure enough, the screenshot from the website, and then my brother found the cover of the magazine with AJ Styles on it, and he opened it up to 393, and there I was.
That's insane, dude. Yeah. Congratulations.
Thank you.
I mean, that from going from the guy at TNA Wrestling in the back who said, hey, take a security shirt, to be in a top 500 PWI, it's got to be humbling to a certain,
it's for real, dude. And a lot of people blow it off like, oh, it's for, nobody cares, it's not real. Man, to be acknowledged, especially when I never sent any of my stuff in, I didn't know anybody at PWI. It was literally someone else must have thought enough of what I was doing. And I was the highest guy from Florida, ranked that had never been on TV.
That's insane. How do you manage your personal life along with your wrestling career? How have they intertwined? How has it been able to do both things at the same time? Because they do, one can affect the other, so to speak. And I've learned that just recently, becoming, somewhat famous. I can imagine how you been doing this all along, signing autographs, taking pictures with people. Like, how does it affect your personal life being a wrestler?
Well, I mean, yeah, my twins, Ben and Dexter, they're 13. And when I mentioned that I had hung out with you at the radio station with Fat Boy, the boys marked out. The boys marked out, like, what, Niko Extra? We follow him on TikTok. Like, the boys knew exactly who you were. And luckily, like, besides wrestling, I do trivia full time. So I'm signing all the time.
Simon Time Trivia. Give a shout out to what you do. Yeah. For those of you that don't know, Simon, on his career, his non-wrestling life, he has a trivia show, and we're actually going to maybe be discussing integrating wrestling and trivia together in the future. Could be really exciting. But what is the trivia show like? What do you do? Tell us in a 60-second elevator pitch.
Yeah, so I've been doing trivia for 15 years as of March, and I do shows 6, sometimes 7 nights a week. It's a basic 3-round game, 3 rounds of 10 questions, a 1-point, 2-point, 5-point round, and it's all general knowledge. And people come in, they play either individually or they bring big tables of teams. And at the end of all 3 rounds, the top 3 teams win a $25, $15, or $10 gift card to the restaurant. Super simple, but I get to be an
Amazing.
entertainer full time, so when I'm not Simon Says, I'm Simon Time. And luckily my wife is a ride or die, and she takes care of the home base. And we have two 13-year-old twins and then a 6-year-old Harrison, but she holds down the home front. And I'm not home very often, dude. Like, you literally caught me before there is a stretch where I'm going to be either quizzing or out of town doing stuff with the midget wrestling warriors guys. They just signed me
Yes.
to be their color commentator
Congratulations.
for TV. So it's
Yeah. I mean, me and Cool Mike C went to micro midget wrestling, and it was some of the best time we had. So the midget warriors, I'm sure, those dudes put on shoose, man. Those guys are out there like they're going over the ropes, they're hitting each other with chairs, they're jumping off the bar stools. Like, it's a good time.
They're
man.
strong
I
and
highly recommend
daring as well. I mean, they're
flying you out to do the midget warrior wrestling. Where you were like in Utah or something. Where were you?
Yeah, they just flew me to Nebraska last month.
Yeah, I knew it was some crazy state.
Bro, it was nuts.
Insane.
And then, so they initially hired me to be their color commentator, and then they heard me talking, and so now I'm managing and hosting a Piper's Pit type segment, like Between the Ropes with Simon Says. But yeah, no, dude, those guys go ham. It is like ham.
Do you see yourself getting involved in some matches in the future?
Fun fact, I've always wanted to wrestle a midget. That's what they call it. They're midgets. There's like
They're not embarrassed to call themselves that. I know in the woke era you have to say little person and stuff, but like they call themselves midgets as professional wrestlers. So I mean, it's micro wrestling, midget wrestling. That's what they say.
Yeah.
So I mean, you want to wrestle a little person is what you're liking to say.
100%, dude. 100%.
I want to see that. I mean,
Right?
I would happily pay the money to see you. I don't know. We pay to see you get thrown on thumbtacks.
Right.
We pay to see little people. You're a spectacle at this point.
I like to think I'm multifaceted. Last year my only win of 2022 was wrestling a girl at the Frank Goodman show where I wrestled Ruthie J.
Congratulations.
So
Kudos to your boy Andy Kaufman, who made a career out of it, right?
yeah, that was that's the ode. I just
Cool,
had,
Mike C, I know.
I just had this big discussion, Niko, and when you messaged me asking if I would come on, I wanted to ask you and Mike about this because one of my best friends, I don't mind saying it, John Davis. John Davis is my best friend in wrestling, and he and I butt heads a lot because he tells me I'm not protective enough about my wings. My win-loss record is poor. Like I said, I won one match last year.
That is one of my questions. How many matches have you had in your career?
So the last count that I had since February 13th, 2006, I was at 5,037.
Oh my God.
Wow.
Well, that was a time.
I was not expecting that number, bro.
Yeah, there was a time when I was wrestling
5,000?
Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesdays with just Wednesdays off.
Holy schmoly, bro.
Yeah,
that body's got some wear and tear, huh?
Yeah, 537 was my last count. And then
What area was that to have 6 days full?
So we would do there was a place called Bourbon Street in Newport Richey, and they did stuff every Tuesday night. And then me and my old tag team partner Francisco Chiazzo and a car full of guys, we used to call ourselves Show in a Box. We would hit the road on Thursday and do Monroe, Georgia, Villarica, Georgia. We would go to Warner Robins, Georgia. We would do Pell City, Alabama. Do a couple towns in Mississippi, and then come back and do like Hollywood, Florida, all that, and do a whole loop, and then come back and on Mondays and do something local Monday nights.
Wow. So what were those shows like? I mean, was it pretty backwoods in Georgia or?
Yeah, dude, it was like the penthouse of Orlando to the outhouse of Warner Robins, Georgia.
We don't like Simon Sez.
Yes.
Around here.
You could get
He's
some
got
real
all
heat
his-
there, right?
Bro,
He's got all his teeth, damn it. Screw him.
there's a video on YouTube of a match in, I think it was Villarica, where I won and I rolled out of the ring, and literally all I did was like, to a guy in the front row, and he pulls out a giant, like a machete, like fruit knife, like a giant fruit knife. And if you see the look on my face, I go from heel mode, like to oh shit, and the guy starts coming over the guardrail, and you see security run and grab him, but like my face turns completely pale. I'm like, oh God, this guy's not messing around.
That is awesome. Here, let's answer the question for Jamie. Other than Jerry Lawler, who would you basically fanboy out if you had the chance to wrestle them?
Oh, Stone Cold Steve Austin, dude. Just to take a stunner, I would pee my pants, legit. Him or William Regal.
Oh man, that would be so crazy to take a Stone Cold Stunner.
Now
for me, it'd definitely be the people's elbow. If I could get the people's elbow, I'd die.
Bro,
I mean,
I marked out when I took the worm from Scotty 2 Hottie back in 2011.
Oh, Scotty 2 Hottie still does his thing, man.
Yeah.
He's no joke.
He's jacked.
He was in CYN last year.
Oh god,
Mania
we
week.
were there.
Yeah, right. We were
bring it up.
there, third row.
We controlled our own narrative and got the hell
Yeah,
out.
we said that's enough.
Wow, what a
We should have gone to
As soon as Adam
GCW next
cared
door.
about-
But
Mike, I know you have some more questions for him. You want to ask them?
yeah, I mean, with Simon and the network of people that you have, I was going to say, we know what a great manager you were, great in full-time wrestling now, and regardless of the win-loss record, but there's so many things that you can do. We know with Simon, Tom, everything else, but to get into different areas of wrestling, we know you have friends over at like AEW and things, and where you might be able to do a manager role in one area, wrestle full-time in another area, just to kind of spread it out, because so many people, there's so many different facets to what you can do and how you can fit in different areas. Do a little bit here, leave, come back a little bit later, kind of like an own mini territory thing that you could do for yourself. Have you thought about just getting out a little bit and doing just different things, or is Simon time taking up so much of your time that it's tough to branch out?
So because I love you guys, this is going to be breaking news. It's something I've never talked about on a podcast or
Breaking news.
I have actually received offers and opportunities from all three big companies, Impact, AEW, and WWE.
Yeah,
Back
Amazing, bro.
right before the pandemic, actually, for my Wednesday, when I was still doing Wednesdays, I had a big long table. It was at East Colonial Smoky Bones, a big table of guys in black polos with WWE shirts, and Corey Graves came to my trivia show. My Thursday night game was right around the corner from Full Sail, so guys like Blake and Murphy, whoever would come and watch, and it was afterwards we'd like all drink, and they'd be like, "Man, you're so funny. We're gonna tell someone about you. We're gonna tell someone about you." And Steve Carino is one of my wrestling dads, so they showed up. They were like, "Hey, let's see what you got." So and so recommended. I did my quiz. I got all my jokes. Got all my shit in, as they say. And afterwards, I came up. The main guy was like, "Hey, here's this card. Show up to Full Sail on Thursday, and we'll give you a shot." And I said, "I can't. I have a quiz on Thursday." And they asked me, I'll never forget. The guy said, "What's more important, following your dream or hosting trivia?" And I said, "Feeding my family is more important." And the guy nodded and he clapped me on the back, and that was that. As far as the other two companies, both times, the most recent one was the AEW thing. I'm stubborn. I want to wrestle. Like, I want to be in the ring. For as long as my body can still take it. I don't want to be a commentator. I don't want to be a manager. So the opportunities that I've been talked to about or offered flat up, I said no. And so many people that are close to me are like, "Simon, you're so effing stupid. Like, get your foot in the door, get in there." But I don't compromise. You know what I mean? And I know I wish I could. It's one of my biggest flaws. Like, to me, it's like, my way or the highway. Like, F you, you tell me I can't do something, I'm going to do it. Everyone who said back in 2009, "Bro, if you stop managing, you're dead in the water. You're never going to do anything outside of wearing a suit and talking to somebody else." All my friends and family growing up, and my teachers, when I told them I'm going to be a wrestler, they were like, "No way, kid." Like, I used to wear big knee braces because my knees were bad growing up. I had scoliosis.
They hit you with "You'll shoot your eye out."
Yeah.
You'll shoot your eye out, kid. Don't do it.
Yeah, so I've kind of shot myself in the foot as far as accepting stuff just to get further along. But now I'm to a point where I'm starting to realize, yeah, I could offer other stuff to the business that's not lacing up my boots and throwing my robe on and getting out there. But who knows if it's too late. I got buddies in the NWA that are trying to convince me to talk to Pat Kenny, Simon Diamond. The whole reason I have my Simon Sez gimmick is because of him.
That's amazing that you have opportunities all across the place. And I get the stubborn thing because, I mean, to be perfectly honest, if I got offered a position with the WWE, I probably wouldn't take it either because I'm like you. I'm comfortable feeding my family and living in the life I have and doing this on the side because WWE is heartless. They'll fire you in a heartbeat over some budget cuts thing. It's not a big, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's just who they are. So I think you made the right decision at the end of the day because what were they going to bring you in to do? Get power bombed by Kane or some shit? You know what I mean? Like they didn't have plans probably anyway. So
You're the first person. You're one of the few people I've ever told that to. I guess now your audience, Jamie and Matt and everybody else watching. But you're the first person that's ever told me that I'm not an idiot for not taking any of, not even just the WWE thing, all the opportunities, because they're just gonna treat you like a number. Luckily I'm very blessed that
I never said you're an idiot, by the way, Simon.
Yeah.
No.
I just heard it, so I didn't have a chance. So
Niko's the first person to openly praise me for doing it.
Right.
Because people either look at me like I have an arm growing out of my face. Thank you so much, Jamie. That's awesome. I can feed my family hosting my quiz night.
right.
So why would I go somewhere and be treated like a number, like Niko said?
Right.
Risk breaking my neck to put somebody else over. I don't know, man. It's just I part of me does wish that I would have taken it just to say, hey, I was there and I did it. But the other part is, it's my way or the highway. Nobody can ever say that I bent and compromised my morals or my beliefs to go do something where I was going to be unhappy.
Well, there's plenty of other independent promotions as well that So I was even looking to hear about that, like CCW or other ones that you might be doing in Florida or in the Southeast, that you might be able to travel to.
And I took 5 years off of wrestling when my son was born, and I really thought I was done. There was a time there where I was so disconnected from the business that I was like, man, like I've had my last match. And then, because Ben and Dexter are technically my stepkids, but I don't refer to them as, they're my boys. You've met the boys. They're my kids.
Yeah.
They started getting older to the point where I was coming home from trivia or from the road, and they'd be sitting on the couch watching old Simon Sez matches on YouTube. And I'll never forget one day I was sitting with Jenny, and I'm like, I think I'm gonna do it again. I think I'm gonna dust off the boots and get back in the ring just so the boys can see me and see not what I used to be, but see that I can still do it now. And that's what brought me back.
That's great.
So
it's awesome.
It's a mistress. It's a labor of love, but I love it so damn much.
Well, you got some fans here already. Look, you already got people inspired by your work because they all understand exactly how the game works with the WWE, because we've seen 1,000 people be fired over the last 10 years over dumb shit. And the last one, Mandy Rose, over pictures that they encouraged her to do in the first place.
Yeah,
I mean, controversy creates cash, but only if it's their cash. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a weird game that they play with you.
Look what they did with Sam.
Mandy's crushing it.
Sam Shaw, dude.
Yeah, she made $1 million in the month of December.
Yeah,
so
that's
she's
nuts.
good.
Right.
So Simon, you've been doing this for 18 years. What advice would you give to the youngsters out there? The people like you who just got a security shirt last week that might, be dipping into their foot into the wrestling world. What would you tell them that they could do, or give them some wise words in their role to becoming professional wrestlers?
Not only is this advice that I would give based on what helped me along the way, this is also multifaceted advice based on what I see a lot now in locker rooms. A lot of the young people, just be quiet and listen. Just shut your mouth and open your ears and listen to the people that have done it longer than you. Whether you agree with what they're saying, whether you're gonna take what they're saying and run with it, just be quiet, be receptive, and be respectful and be thankful. Bro, the number of there's locker rooms that I work in frequently now where I feel like an outsider. Once upon a time, wrestling locker rooms were like a camaraderie, like a brotherhood. Now, if these young kids have never seen you work before or don't know who you are, they don't give a moist fart about what you have to say. They don't care about asking for advice. They don't care about asking for critiques. When I came up, Niko, Mike, I knew who all of the quote-unquote forefathers of Florida wrestling were that came before us. I knew the Bruce Santees, I knew the Scoot Andrews, I knew the Billy Fives, I knew all those guys. The kids today, honestly, it's not until they watch me go out and cut my promo or do my spot that I come back and they're like, yo, how can I do that? Like, how can I cut that promo? How can I get the crowd to chant Simon sucks as loud as they did? Or yo, there's a guy outside the locker room waiting with a lead pipe, wanting to bash your brains in. Like, I want that type of heat. But even when you do tell them, when you say, hey, you did this and this wrong, or hey, let me tell you how you could do this different to be better. 99.9% of the time, you're getting blown off. You know.
As a follow up to that in the locker room, is it kind of the culture different now where they used to come up to the veterans, introduce themselves and do that, whereas now they don't even do that? What's that kind of like? Is that totally broken down?
Yeah, but Mike, like now, if most of these kids don't catch you on the way from their car to their seat, they don't go out of their way to shake your hand. They don't, one of my biggest pet peeves in wrestling is, let's say me, you, and Niko were standing together, and a worker comes up to leave and say, all right, see you, Simon. They'll shake my hand, and if they don't know who either of you guys are, they'll just walk away without saying anything to you. And that bugs the hell out of me. Like, you don't see two other human beings standing here. You don't see two other physical bodies. It doesn't matter that I'm a worker. Be respectful, bro. I sound like such an
It's a
old man.
generational thing. I know you don't want to say, hey, it's these younger guys, but it is.
I'm so respectful to everyone. I mean, obviously I'm not a wrestler, so I'm kind of one of the boys, but not one of the boys. But like, I'm respectful to the 40-year-olds, the
Everyone.
50-year-olds, 20-year-olds, like Cameron Stewart. Come on, I mean, like, I treat him just like everyone else. Everyone needs. That's how they deserve it.
You meet the same people on the way up that you meet on the way down, was something I learned earlier. And Jeremy Borash instilled in my brain, bro, you shake everybody's hand. The guy main eventing, the guy setting up chairs, the concession stand lady. Not even just because look at JB. Look at how many people,
JB's a great one.
Bro, people poo-pooed on JB his entire time when he was coming up in wrestling. Never expected him to be in a position of power.
Now he's at NXT.
Yep.
Yeah.
And before that, he was a shot caller in TNA for a long time.
Oh, for a long time. He helped build the Hardys videos. He's legendary for that.
I know you always wanted to be a wrestler, but when you see someone like Don West and Mike Tenay just having a blast in there, just best friends talking shit, you don't want to do that at all.
Down the road, that's in Simon's future.
Would be so good at that, and I think you and I could definitely dabble in that at like PWA, get our stuff. But I think that is really something you should consider, because the gift of gab is so hard to have, and you have it like no one else, brother. I've heard your promos. I've seen you in a parking lot cut a promo. I've seen you in a ring cut a promo.
I've seen him cut the most vicious promo at an airport once.
You've seen him cut a real life
dude. It was real life, well thought out, on the plane ride from Dallas to Orlando, and it was unloaded, and it was the most intense promo I've ever seen in someone's face, and I was right there, and it wasn't even directed at me, and I was concerned. And Simon and I are totally cool. That's how hardcore it was. And believe me, the other person was actually stiff, standing in his place, and could not move from that promo until Simon walked away and then stuttered. That was real life.
Oh, that's so
Niko, did he tell you I snatched his ass up by the face at WrestleMania in front of security at the gates, at the ticket gate? I snatched him up by his jowl in front of security.
Yeah, I heard about all of that.
I would have loved to seen that.
What a
so great, man.
Yeah.
All right.
But yeah,
where can they find you, Simon?
I would
Simon, where can they find you? Go ahead. What were you saying?
You asked about the commentary thing. When Howard Brody, rest his soul, Uncle Howard, started Ring Warriors back up again, he hired me and Blake Chadwick, who is now with NXT as Blake Howard, to be the commentary team for Ring Warriors. So we did Ring Warriors season 1 and 2, which aired on Eurosport. We were the commentary team.
That is so, like, I think you really should explore that, when you're done wrestling, when you're really done wrestling. I can tell you still have a little gas in the tank. 5,000 matches is insane. I did not know you had that many. I mean, that's a lot of matches, dude.
Yeah, a lot of those were like double duty, like working multiple matches in the same day, or because my gimmick for a while was like I would come out, cut a promo, like bullshit somebody that would come out, and I would cheat to win. And then later on in the night, I would come out and be like, see how impressive I am? Look at my muscles, and no one can take me. And it would bring someone bigger out to throw me around and squash me like a bug.
So then you get your ass beat after that.
Yeah, so I had a lot of double duties.
What is your? Do you know your record after those 5,000 matches?
I can check. I have a notebook with it. It's not good. I think it's like losses almost triple.
Do you have 1,000 wins? You think? That's a. I mean,
hey, the losses pay, right, no. Simon? The losses paid, and that's what it's about.
Yeah,
gives a crap.
Right.
Yeah, I'll take.
They get paid,
honestly,
right?
I would be shocked. I would be shocked if my wins are past 1,000.
I think it's. I don't know if you're going to get the chance to get a stunner from Stone Cold, but I think it would be absolutely amazing if that happens to you. I really hope it does.
Thank you, buddy.
And I know if you see him in person, you'll probably ask him, but he's not going to give you one on the street. Oh, hell yeah.
Bro.
Simon, thank you so much for joining us, my man. Where can everyone find you at on the internet?
You can check me out at all the Instagrams and Twitters and social media, Emerald_Emperor, as I am the Emerald Emperor of professional wrestling, Simon Sez. You can also check me out everywhere at Simon Time Trivia. That is one word. I will be appearing at Pro Wrestling Action's Radical Rumble, sponsored by Niko Knows Best, on May 21st at the Eastmont Civic Center in Altamont Springs, Florida. And you can just catch me. I pop up everywhere, dude. I am the easiest man in the world to find. I want to say a big up, though, bro. Jamie Palmer is awesome. Yes, my kids have expressed interest in wanting to not only wrestle, but they want me to be their manager. JB Wrestling, thank you for saying good work, man. You guys, bro, I watch this show. If I don't watch it live, I try to catch it whenever I can. And Ben and Dexter love Niko Knows Best. Mike C, you know you're one of my favorite people in the world.
Yes, definitely.
And guys, just trying to see who else's questions I missed. Express interest. Yeah, what match do I think will be the best at WrestleMania? Probably Roman Cody. I really think they booked themselves into a corner with that.
I mean, we're going to talk WrestleMania for 10 minutes if you want to stay on. I mean, we can sit here and chat.
I just wanted to say one thing real quick, because I've honestly been meaning to talk to you about this. I've talked about it to my wife, and she doesn't book wrestling, so I think them blowing the load on Sammy turning at the Rumble really shot them in the foot. I know they wanted to get the Elimination Chamber at Montreal match, but I honestly feel if they had waited until Roman lost to Cody at Mania, then he blames Sammy and do the slow turn, they could have had a feud till SummerSlam without the belt.
I agree, man. I think they definitely fucked up, and they could have had some Sammy Mania, Zayn. What is it? Sammy Zania, Zayn Mania,
WrestleZania.
WrestleZania
and KO Mania.
But I mean, let's be honest. This was written a long time ago. It was always planned for Cody to come back and win the title. And Sam,
which I love that story. I love that.
Right.
I just don't think they had the Sammy turn yet, because Sammy wrestling Roman for the title was so predictable.
It was such a great match. They had a good match, though.
They did, but I feel like if they had done it without the title at SummerSlam, then the finish could have gone either way.
This Roman reign, man, Roman Reigns' reign has been something special, and I'm a huge Roman Reigns fan. The whole thing's, Rikishi, Rock, the whole bloodline ever since Usos, everybody. He's just really kicked some major ass these last 2 years or 3 years, dude. It's just been unbelievable, this run.
Do you think I don't see another run like this in our lifetime?
No,
never. And he's put butt in the seats. I mean, WrestleMania, you were there, dude. There were 75, 80,000 people all there to see Roman Reigns. I mean,
and Brock.
We're all there. And Brock, but not really Brock anymore. He's fighting Omos. I mean,
well, that is a big letdown from last year for sure.
Thank you, everyone, for the comments. We appreciate it. The show is not over yet. I'm going to name some winners at the end of it, but we're going to talk a little WrestleMania 39 while we're here. Simon, you're going to stay on. That's awesome. Yeah. We'll run through the card real quick because it is the roads to WrestleMania, as cheesy as that is. Is it me, or does the whoa, does it get louder every week?
Bro.
It's getting out of control, right?
People love it.
I mean, it's just like, I think people are like waiting for it, and then they're like, oh, like it's their moment in time to let it all out from what's going on. It's beautiful. And I don't think Sammy has the star power at the end of the day to carry the belt. I think he could have won it, but 3 months, 6 months later, it's going to fizzle out because he just didn't have that thing going. Him as a face now, with KO and them having the tag team belts and running with that, I think is going to be a much better storyline. The question is Roman and Cody is if Cody's going to win A or B. Simon, what do you think about that? Who do you got?
I think Cody's got to get it, man. For the sake of the story, they involved Dusty Rhodes. You know, they have to do. But I mean, you were there. You remember his debut? That building was shaking when his music hit.
Are you guys Homo sapiens?
Oh God, bro.
No, David, we are not Homo sapiens.
Dave, I am terrible in the ring. I know how to talk and I know how to tell a story, but almost makes me look like Kurt Angle in the ring, dude.
Cody wins. Cody wins.
Cody wins. I think we all think Cody's going to win, and we all know Roman's going to be taking some time off.
And good for him. He deserves it.
He deserves it.
Right,
the question.
There's no way, right? There's no way they don't put it on him.
Cody's winning. The question is how long before everyone turns on Cody? Because as Daniel Bryan said, fans are fickle. I mean, they really are. We're just assholes, dude. At the end of the day, we just get sick so quickly in this day and age. I don't know, man. I worry about it. I love Cody Rhodes, but I just don't know how far he's going to be able to take
I don't think he's going to be able to carry the 2 belts. The question is, does Cody say, I want to relinquish one and maybe have like a tournament for it or something? Or does he have to fight for both belts at each? I mean,
you don't think they'll combine them?
Yeah.
You think they will finally? Okay.
Triple H has approved another belt, so there's a chance that they could be bringing in another championship. And
I figure if they combine it, they just cut their sales in half. When you could move 2 belts, if they were distinctly Raw, distinctly SmackDown, you could sell twice as much, isn't that? If you just had the one,
you need to bring the big gold belt back and quit fucking around.
Yeah,
no way, dude.
Seriously.
Bring back the big eagle, the attitude.
The eagle, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the big eagle was so beautiful. Oh man, I love it. Charlotte Flair versus Rhea, and I'm going to ask you this. They say when you win the Royal Rumble that you get to main event WrestleMania, but it appears now that it's going to be Usos versus KO and Sammy on night 1 and Roman versus Cody, meaning they're not going to main event. I do think this match is going to be amazing, but at the end of the day, Rhea has to win, right? There's no way that Charlotte can leave because she left last year with the belt retaining, correct?
Yep.
We were,
yes.
I just can't, but at the same time, she's Charlotte Flair, so anything's possible. Who do you have, Cool Mike C?
I got Charlotte. You know, I mean, just because of, you know, what Chris was saying, it's like just when you think she should lose, she finds up a way to win. She's done it so many times, even when logic would say it. Now, being NXT, being big fans of Rhea, I've said it before. I said it last week on the show. Would it be great to have championship gold being held up in Judgment Day every week on TV? That would be ideal. I'd like to see it that way. I just think on a big event like this with Charlotte and everything else, unless she has something lined up for the second half of the year, she could still keep it.
Mike, I've heard you talk about him before. What is it that you like about the Judgment Day so much?
It's just the young, hip, different thing with different personalities. I think really when you look at, you know, the whole Rhea mommy character and the heat that Dominic's getting. And Priest has always looked cool ever since the Punishment Martinez days. And you know, Finn Balor. I mean, come on. I mean, as the Demon, he was great. As the Prince, I mean, I just think they're loaded with talent, and there's so many different things that they could do with it. I hope they don't blow it up. I think they've got a lot of pairings they could do going forward.
I'm just fascinated. Like I said, as two of my only friends in wrestling, I'm just curious, like where your guys' mindsets. Because like I said, I watch the show, but I never get to interact with you guys. Niko, what's your favorite stable of all time? I don't mean to hijack the show, but I'm genuinely.
No, you're good, bro. First off, I want to go back to talk about the Judgment Day because I too also love the Judgment Day. Rhea Ripley has been me and Cool Mike C girl since day one. We were in the
ring when she had the championship. We actually got brought in the ring.
We formed the ring like fanboys,
right at Full Sail.
We loved her from day one, and I think that at the end of the day, she has to win this match. But the whole group, and by the way, Mike. Damian Priest is in his 40s, and so is Finn Balor.
Right.
So they're not the cool young hip group.
You're right, but they're still hip.
Dominic has really came into his
own
character.
Well, half of it's young.
The fact that we all know that the end game for Dominic is to get that Rey Mysterio mask and put it on and become Rey Mysterio the third or second, because that's his ultimate goal. That's both their ultimate goals, is for Dominic to become the next Rey Mysterio. For him to go out of this character and do this prison time thing, and it's just, I love it. And the fact that him and Rey are having such a solid storyline into WrestleMania. I mean, this man is going to storm the Hall of Fame. You understand that? He's going to come out in the middle of the Hall of Fame and like kick his dad in the nuts or something crazy.
You think so?
Oh, absolutely, dude. They haven't even named the match yet. He's going to name it at the Hall of Fame. He's going to be like, I'm going to fight you. They haven't even called the match. So
I thought they did on SmackDown.
They announced it on SmackDown when he punched him finally?
Yeah, he said, I'll see you at WrestleMania.
Yeah, he said, I'll see you at WrestleMania.
So he's going to definitely storm the Hall of Fame, dude. There's going to be something going down. It's going to be absolutely amazing. But to answer your second question, my favorite faction of all time has to be the Four Horsemen. I grew up in the 80s. I'm 43. Seeing Ric Flair in 85 with the big gold, cutting promos like there's no tomorrow. When they added Lex Luger, when they beat Luger out of the Horsemen, just all that stuff was so real to me. When they beat Luger out of the Horsemen on that limo, I was sad. Like, I think I cried. I was like, oh my God, dude, what are they doing to him? How could they do this? I was talking to my grandma. I mean, it was just so great back then, and they carried it for so long. What about you guys? Who is your favorite faction of all time? Simon, go first.
As big of a fan of Stone Cold Steve Austin as I am, I mean, I have his skull tattooed on my leg. I got it when I was 13 years old. My favorite stable growing up was the Corporation. I love Team Corporate, dude. I loved McMahon as the heel. He was the perfect foil to Austin, and I don't know what it was about just the boss having these group of guys that wanted to keep their jobs by doing his dirty bidding. But other than that, it is the Horsemen. But Team Corporate is my number one, and I know that's such a lame answer, but I love him.
I mean, not Vince McMahon was like, he stole our hearts for like decades. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like the Kiss My Ass Club and all. I mean, he just had some stuff that was just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Cool, Mike C. Who is your favorite faction of all time?
Well, you already brought up the Horsemen, so I'm definitely going with Evolution.
Oh, yes, bro, these are my three.
I mean, the Nate. I love Nate and what he and Hunter did to bring Batista and RKO along. I mean, I just thought that was special, and I think that's something that they're going to be in the Hall of Fame at one time. So then Flair's going to get 3 rings.
This is why I love you guys. These are literally my top 3 favorite factions of all time: the Horsemen, Evolution, and the Corporation.
Yes.
Evolution was special because they saw something in Randy Orton, which they absolutely nailed on the head, because he's been a thoroughbred for 20 plus years. It resurged Rick's career because he was pretty much on the verge of suicide and bottomless broke at that point. And then Batista was just some guy that honestly, he couldn't cut a promo out of a paper bag, but he turned himself into a damn good character. And then went to Hollywood and is pretty much now $100 million richer. Right. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For being in those Avenger movies. So, I mean, that Evolution truly evolved into this amazing group of people, and it's just still to this day amazing. That music, man, when that music hit, Evolution is a mystery.
I play it during my trivia shows.
Oh,
such
nice.
Good shit. Jamie Palmer says the Hart Foundation. You know what? You cannot hate on them. They had some hell of a run with Brett and Anvil, I mean, and British Bulldog and all them. They were dope, definitely. That's a great question, though. I always wondered like what people think, and it's generational. A lot of times, like the younger people, if we had a 21
Undisputed Era,
yeah, they'd be like definitely Undisputed or like like the Elite or some
right
shit.
would be it
like,
now.
Do you guys know your top 5 favorite wrestlers of all time in no particular order?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd go Rock is my favorite of all time.
The Rock is?
Yeah, by far. I would put Ric Flair at 2.
Remind me to tell you my story with The Rock sometime.
Oh, please do. I'd put Undertaker at 3, Stone Cold at 4, and probably it'd either be Triple H or Macho Man at 5. It'd be tough.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Rock, Austin, Taker, Flair, and Savage?
Yeah.
Okay, Mike C?
It's Flair. And in no order, we already talked about it last year where we both talked about Stone Cold and Taker in that era, when you have those there. And then I would probably say personally, because he was the first wrestler that brought me into wrestling in Florida, was Dusty Rhodes.
Nice.
But, with the polka dots, I didn't like as much. But when he was the American Dream and I saw him in a match with the Dusty finish against Harley Race, there was almost a riot here in Orlando. I mean, it was crazy. And then number 5 would be Charlotte Flair. I think she's by far the best ladies women's wrestler of all time. She's a true champ, and that's why I'm still hanging in there with Charlotte for this Saturday night.
That is a strong pick, dude, and it's hard to argue it because
she's the greatest of all time. How can you say that doesn't count?
She's really had an amazing career. That's hard to argue that, and she doesn't get the recognition. And then bringing her into a group that's pretty much male dominated is impressive. Some notable factions mentioned. How could no one mention the NWO?
I would have. And as much as you liked NWO, and it was great when they started, and I agree. First, I thought we were doing mostly like WWE, but NWO devolved. I mean, it got to be way too big, got overblown. Then they had the white and the red and but when it first started, that was fire. When they first came in, oh man, come on.
Yeah, crazy.
Yeah, they just took over.
Hogan turn was insane.
The third man. When you had the build up to the third man and Hogan came in.
Here he comes, folks. Hogan's here finally. Oh, what's he doing? Oh my God.
In Daytona, right?
I would have probably thrown a drink at him that night.
Yeah. So yeah, you got to say NWO's like. I mean,
they got too big for their britches.
Yeah, but they were fire for a while, man. I mean,
you can never take away his 82 weeks, and controversy creates cash. It's been 83 weeks.
I like
controversy creates cash has been my motto for fucking.
I read that book and it was money.
I like the fact that we each have our two of our favorite wrestlers in the top 5, because mine are Austin Taker, Ric Flair, Stan Hansen, and William Regal.
Oh, William Regal's dude. Stan Hansen. Oh, who'd I see? I saw Stan Hansen in Japan fighting someone. It wasn't, dude. They were just beating the living shit out of each other.
Didn't Andre the Giant hate him?
Yeah, Stan Hansen was a tough son of a bitch, man. No doubt about it.
Yeah.
God, I would not want to get in the ring with that dude. No doubt about it.
He's the reason I do the Sez Express as my finisher.
Oh, I love it. You owe to your wrestlers. You have to. You gotta pay the respect to them. You know what I mean? These guys paved the way. They're the reason you're doing what you're doing.
Yeah.
Bianca Belair versus Asuka. I think this match is going to be incredible in the ring. I think these two are going to really put on a show. There's no doubt that Asuka can go, and Bianca has been paving the way for the last couple of years. Is pretty much the top female wrestler, and taking the place of Charlotte being absent, doing her marriage and all that other stuff, injuries. I'm not sure, but
I honestly think this match can steal the show.
I think it can as well. This has the capabilities to have a Randy Savage Steamboat type event where it's the best match of the night, but it's going to be undershadowed by Roman and Cody because that's how it is. I'm not sure if it's going to be on night 1 or night 2. They haven't announced it yet, but I'd probably imagine night 2 because Charlotte and Rhea's
night 2. I think too.
Yeah. It's going to be exciting. Who do you got, Cool Mike C? Bianca Belair or Asuka?
Bianca just continues the role of dominance. I mean, and Asuka, as great as she is, it's going to be a great match. And it could be, like you said, could be the match of the night. But at the end of the day, she's not going to be carrying the belt. And I don't think, other than Charlotte, anybody could carry it better than Bianca at this time. I think she's doing a great job. And she'll be carrying it into SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think they've lost faith in Asuka. I think it'll be a way to solidify Bianca Belair's championship run by letting her go over the Empress of Tomorrow. Thank you, pal.
We'll be seeing Asuka fighting Mercedes Moné in a couple months.
Yeah. You really think? Do you guys? I know you guys have talked about it extensively, but do you really think she's on her way back?
Who? Mercedes? No, I think her dream was to go to Japan. I don't think she's welcome back at this point in time. And I also don't think Naomi's coming back because she was asked if she's part of the WWE and she said no. So I think they're both gone at this point and walking out. You don't walk out, dude. You don't do that.
Well, I mean, that's the big thing. And I've seen people insanely compare their walkout to Stone Cold Steve Austin's walkout, which is the fact that anyone would put those two into the same categories beyond me. But I mean, a lot of people thought when Zack Ryder, Matt Cardona left, that he was never coming back. And I mean, they say never, but I feel like Mercedes, like Sasha Banks, burnt the hell out of that bridge.
Oh yeah, And is Bray Wyatt doing the same thing right now? Where the hell is Bray Wyatt at? Is he having a mental breakdown? Is it physical? What I mean, there was big plans for him to have a
Vince
constant
doesn't
match.
like him, right? Vince got him fired in the first place. Vince has more control than you think, and I think he said, he's not going to be on this show.
I'm a gimmicks guy. I'm a character
I love him,
guy.
dude.
I don't think Vince likes him, and I think that's why he's not there at Mania.
But I don't see what.
How did he get hurt? He wrestled L.A. Knight one time.
Mental, bro. Mental hurt.
I think Niko's right, man. Like, he hasn't been the same since he got back. And I don't think him getting in the ring and crying and getting all emotional is a work. I think it's a shoot that he's like going through some stuff right now.
Demons, dude.
Yeah,
he's got demons.
Oh yeah.
And it makes me sad because he is one of my favorite wrestlers by far. And you know, that match was amazing. I thought it was really cool. The whole concept of it at the Royal Rumble, the Mountain Dew Pitch Black match. Mike and I were
right there, yeah.
And it was awesome. And so I don't know. It's really sad that he's not going to be.
But I mean, he didn't get hurt in that match. I mean, you know what I mean?
No.
I honestly think John's passing really affected him. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
As someone that knew him and is friends with Amanda and stuff, I know that a lot of people still I've had friends that passed on that have been gone for over 10 years, and it's still when you stop to think about it, it hits you like it just happened today. So I really think that did a number on Bray, you know.
Yeah, I hope we see Bray back. It's definitely a shame that he's not able to continue this career, because he is one of those people that could be a world champion again. I mean, he's that kind of caliber talent. I don't know if he could carry it though. Again, it's just one of those things.
He's captivating, but just he has such a struggle getting there, and like you said, staying there.
What is going to be the banger of the night? Sheamus versus Drew versus Gunther. Walter. I hate calling him Gunther. He's Walter to me. These guys are going to beat the living shit out of each other.
Yeah.
This is going to be a physical match that's going to be exciting. You know, it's not going to be flippy flip, but it's going to be big meaty men doing meat shit, and they're going to be beating each other out. At the end of the day, I do think Gunther gets the W, because Sheamus and Drew have their own little beef going on. But this match is going to steal the show potentially too. Simon, who do you got in this match?
I think Walter's got it, but this match either has the potential to be amazing or to be a clusterfuck. Big time.
For sure. Cool, Mike C, who you got?
I've been thinking about it all week since we talked about it last, and Chris called Sheamus, and I thought Drew McIntyre would, because I said he needs to be carrying a belt. And I looked at it, and I don't think that Sheamus has ever won the Intercontinental Championship, has he? I think that's the one belt that's eluded him.
Oh, you're right.
It's the one,
so I think the more I thought about it this week, I said this would be the chance for Sheamus to finally get a payback, for kind of paying it forward, with the new faction they're with right now, right? I think Sheamus could be the surprise here, but I think Gunther drops it.
I heard rumors that they're building up Walter to be Cody's first big challenger after Cody takes the belt. So whether he's doing that as IC champion or not, I don't see them making him, putting him under. That wouldn't make him look very strong if he's going to go against the champion, you know?
Well, but let's think about it. He doesn't have to lose, does he, in a three-way? That's why you have the three-way. Gunther loses, but he doesn't take the fall. One of the other guys does. That way he's still strong, but then Sheamus and McIntyre can go back and forth, because then they can have a best of three, take it all the way into SummerSlam. And meanwhile, Cody needs a challenger. The guy who didn't lose the Intercontinental Championship, but was in the match, he fights Cody. Maybe that goes to SummerSlam.
By the way, Jamie, that's crazy. Jamie was there the night Owen passed. That's nuts.
I saw that.
Oh,
yeah.
wow.
Jamie's been there, done that, man. Jesus, that would be a hell of a moment to witness in person for sure. Well, this interview is supposed to be 30 minutes. We're at an hour 6.
That's the usual. We always go a little over.
It's 11:09. We have to all work in the morning, I'm sure. But Simon, thank you so much for joining us. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, Simon.
I'm going to go ahead and spin the wheel. You can stay for the spin, or you can do your thing, whatever you
No,
like.
dude,
I'm gonna go ahead and
psyched to
add.
be here, dude. Like, I was so happy when you thought enough of me to ask me to be on the show.
Bro, you're welcome any week you want, man. You can come on in here. You are family to us. We love you, and I feel the chemistry. I'm not gonna lie here. I
Bro, I
feel some
love it.
chemistry between
Of course.
the three of
It's
us.
just another conversation
of
we're
us.
having.
The three of us, just so we can rock this. So let's see who is going to be the two winners. This first spin is for the. Wait, let me get my music playing. I'm gonna play WrestleMania music.
Yes.
The original WrestleMania. This winner is for the Samoa Joe autograph. Let's go. Who's gonna be the winner? My internet better
Cool
work
music.
today when we spin. I love this song, man. Who's winning the Samoa Joe autograph? Who's it gonna be? Oh, Pam Creed, congratulations. You just won the Samoa Joe autograph. Who is gonna win the Acclaim t-shirt? Let's go. Well, baby, you broke my heart, but I still love you. I just wanted to let you know this. Me and you, we've been together a long time. But this time, the winner's going to be... What do you think about that? I got all the... If you want to do a rap music, we could go. Yo, listen up. Go extra coming at you with the 1-2s. Who's the winner going to be tonight? The Acclaim t-shirt's going to... And 604, yo. Congratulations, Ashwin, 604 winning the Acclaim t-shirt, and Pam Creed winning the Samoa Joe autograph. Next week, ladies and gentlemen, Big Gold joins the wheel. That's right.
Wow.
You have a chance to get the Big Gold Championship. I already gave one away, and it was signed by Kurt Angle and Mick Foley. I'm going to be giving away a championship belt every single month for the rest of the year. All you have to do is subscribe to the Niko Extras Winners Club. And for the month of April, your $5 subscription is going to go to the National Autism Association. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Which is very near and dear to my heart. I actually started a charity back in the day called Wrestling Autism in 2005, and I was able to raise around $10,000. So I'm looking to hopefully reciprocate that in the future. I'll start by doing this kind of thing with the subscriptions and using my creator fund, but eventually I'll start to pair up with wrestling companies and donate proceeds to charity. Good roundabout all of things. I'm sure you'll be involved, Simon, as it's near and dear to your heart as well.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Niko, let's set up a live Niko Knows Best like trivia contest thing, and I'll donate all my proceeds, my payday and everything, because my 6-year-old is autistic, and that I love what you're doing here. I'm gonna keep sharing on all my social media pages because that's awesome, dude.
I really appreciate it, brother. You are a good person. You're one of the few good people in this world because the world is full of some assholes. Let's be honest. But
don't tell anybody. I got a reputation to uphold.
As much as the guy that you slapped around and all that, he's the reason we ended up meeting, because I would have never went to Pro Wrestling Action in the first place if I didn't hang out with him. So thanks to him.
I think he caught a banana in the face.
He caught a banana.
I heard about that.
Yeah, I heard about the banana in the face.
But at the end of the day, we're all friends now, and I can't wait to continue this friendship. So, like I said, you're welcome any week on the show. I really enjoyed interviewing you. You had some great stories.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for sharing them with us, and I hope
Thanks
to
for
see
having
you
me,
on in the future.
And seriously, be careful what you wish for, dude. I will be on every episode if you'll have me. Hell, I'll bring trivia to pit you and Mike against each other and see who wins.
Nice. Oh, man, that'd be awesome.
I'd get crushed. But it'd be fun.
I'll tell you right now, executive consultant, our boy Chris, he is amazing at trivia. So if you really
that's true.
We could get some good people on here. We could have some fun. And if you're in the crowd and you think you know your wrestling, DM me. Maybe we'll put you on the show as well. Simon, where can they find you?
Bro,
one
I'm
more
dead serious.
Wrestling trivia.
Check me out, Emerald_Emperor or at Simon Time Trivia on all the social medias. I'll be wrestling this Saturday and Sunday at MegaCon for Bizarro World Multiversal Mania. Both nights on the second floor of the convention center. I'll be at River City Wrestling Con. I'll be wrestling, hosting trivia, emceeing, and hosting Q&A panels with some of your favorite wrestlers. And then me and my dad, Father James Mitchell, the Devil, will be appearing at Spooky Empire this year. So that's it, guys. I love you so much. Seriously, Mike C, Niko, you guys are my heart, and I love the shit out of you guys.
How cool is Cool Mike C? We want to get Father James Mitchell on one week for sure. We'd love to interview him.
Me know.
He's got 100 stories more than you got. I mean, you want to talk about someone that's seen and done it? Holy shit.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he just came out in January at Pro Wrestling Action. He did me the favor of interfering in my match against
the Flame.
Nuts,
the Flame, dude. I loved it. It was amazing.
Yeah.
All right, everybody. You know where to find me. Niko Extra. Niko Knows Best. Link in bio. Subscribe to the Winners Club. Buy the t-shirts. Yada yada. Thank you so much, everyone, for being a part of the family. Simon Sez, thank you for joining me. Cool Mike C, you are the man. I will see you all next week. Congratulations to Pam Free and Ashwin on winning the prizes. Next week, the belt goes live, folks.
Big gold.
And if it was a brown Camry, the rap stone cold, eating at the cold stone, feeling